Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome to Appleton, Wisconsin, where we're finally getting some snow. Someone last week asked if I could show Lila sometime. So I thought I would start out my live with Lila on camera. So, those of you who haven't had the pleasure of meeting Lila, she would greet you. She would try her hardest to sit and wait for you to pet her, but she would run out of patience and she would jump up on you and greet you. But this is Miss Lila, but we're going to put her back to sleep here. She was sleeping. I woke her up. All right. We're going to put her back in her place. Good morning, Kelly and Amanda and Mary. Thank you for sharing. Nancy, Julie D, Betty K, Linda, Julie, and Karen. Yes, Mary saying hi to you, Miss Lila. You love Miss Mary, don't you? All right. I have a lot in store for you today. A new fold using some new product. Also a couple of new tools and different things that Stampin' Up! Did with some stamp sets and bundles. So I have all of that today for you. And it's probably going to take me longer than an hour. I can tell you that, even though it's just 2 cards. But let's go ahead and start with some happy mail. Oh, now she wants me to pet her because she was on my lap. Look at this beautiful card that I received from, I believe this one was from Amanda. Yeah, Amanda's on here. Look at that. I love that little owl sitting on the books. And it was a thank you. She won for commenting a couple of weeks ago. And then Tammy Litsky sent me this. She also won. I think she won for sharing. So this says a big, and then it says thank you down here. This is that split panel that I did with the dogwood. She said she loved the layout. I love your card. And then look at this beautiful card from Mary Van Domlin. Mary's on here too. So thank you so much, Mary, for this. Thank you. I really, really appreciate all the fun mail that I get. I did send out a little bit of fun mail myself this week. Oh my goodness. I had a lot of stuff going out in the mail. So hopefully some of you who are getting it soon. Will be receiving it soon if you haven't already. So, gosh, more people have jumped on. Good morning, Carol and Patty Skiva and Lori and Karen Wetstein and Denise and Sandy. Thank you all for joining me. I think we should get to some prizes. How about if we do that? So anytime you place a comment, whether it's here in the live chat on YouTube, if it's on my Facebook page, if it's in the replay comments after, if you watch it instead of live, watch it later, you will get entered into a drawing. I just put everybody's name down and assign you all a number, do a random pick of a number, and that person receives for commenting the cards that I made the week before. So last week we made this, whoops, sorry for your loss. It's a sympathy card. And then on the inside, it says, praying for his comfort to soften the sadness and bring you peace. And then we made a happier occasion. We made this wedding card, forever and always. And again, on the inside, it says, congratulations on your wedding day. So receiving these for commenting last week is Linda Kester. So Linda, I have your address and I will get these off in the mail to you. Then if you share, so you can email the link to somebody, you can post it on your Facebook page, you can do whatever you want to share this video to some of your friends. And if you do that, I just ask, I think I saw Mary did it. She wrote down that she shared. Dee just did it. Once you do that, make sure that you type in that you shared. So as I'm writing down all the names of the comments, I'm putting an asterisk by all those who say that they shared. And I look at my shared people that shared as well on Facebook, and they get entered into a drawing same way to win prizes. Ooh, a cold Phoenix this morning. I bet we got you beat, Jean. I bet it's colder here. It's snowing. So receiving a pack of this Baker's Twine, it's a color pack. It has Calypso Coral, Lemon Lolly, and Balmy Blue is, let's see, Lori Workman. I think I saw you on here, Lori. Yes, Lori is on here. Lori, I need your address. So if you could private message me either on Facebook, or if you could send me an email at createwithsarahllc@gmail.com and send me your address, I will get this in the mail to you. So thank you for sharing. And then for placing orders. So anytime you place an order, your name also gets put into a drawing. This week, there were a lot of orders because the new catalog went live. And some of you were up really, really late and making sure that you got your stuff, thinking that it might go on back order. So I didn't even check the back order list to see if anything's unavailable. I'll have to do that later. But putting all those names into a drawing and receiving this stamp set, Bright Skies, for placing an order is Amanda Shabo. So Amanda, I will be sending this off to you as well. So thank you all for supporting my business by just watching me, commenting. Excuse me. I still have that little cough that comes up when I'm talking. And for sharing it out to other people. Somehow you found me, if you didn't know me already, and that might be because somebody shared it. So spreading the word always helps to grow my business. So thank you so much. All right, I do have my January promotion going on right now. Any $50 purchase, you will be getting a PDF with me that has pictures and dimensions for 8 cards. They are all using different stamp sets from the mini catalog or Saleabration. You can just take the layout and use stuff that you have. You don't have to purchase all the stamps to be able to make the cards, but it gives you some different layouts and some things to keep. If it's a $75 purchase or more, you will get that PDF plus a pack of gems. And if you reach $100, you will get a half a pack of some of the new DSP, a pack of gems, and the PDF. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knows that. Oh, it's 36. Yeah, that is cold for Phoenix, Jean. Ooh, I am so sorry about that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hide that. My brother and sister-in-law are out. They go to Arizona for the winter. They have a place out there. So haven't talked to them to know that it's that cold out that way. So thank you all. I see a bunch of people putting that they shared. I think we're going to go ahead and get started because, like I said, there is a lot to do. So I'm going to go like this, move this over, make that bigger, and turn off my overhead lights. All right, hopefully everything looks good. So back in, oh gosh, it must have been like September when I did my swaps. I received this. Let me see. This is from, I don't know who this is from. It just has what colors are in it. But I received this card. Isn't this cute? All right. And what it does is it sets like this, and it's called a rocking card. You might have seen some people with that rocking horse cut the rocking horse out and they made it into a rocking card as well. I was intrigued by this, and I'm like, sometime I'm going to make this card. I'll do it with something different because, of course, we don't have this anymore because it's retired. And so today we're going to make one of these rocking cards. But instead of, I thought the little animal on it and stuff was cute with the polar bear. So we are going to instead use, whoops, I just dropped a blend, the cutest cows. Isn't this just the cutest? You've got a couple of different heads for the cows, couple of different bodies, so they can be lying down, standing up in different directions. We have a punch that punches some of that out. My punch is buried here underneath my stamp pads. Okay, so if you have a bundle, you can punch out, this is the body of the cow going in that direction. No, I take that back, that direction. We've got the head. We have different parts. You've got the tail. You've got the like the face part with the nose and stuff, the snout or whatever. And you've got just different parts that you can punch out of the cow. And then we're also going to be using a die from the Fluffiest Friends. I pulled this out because it's in my card buffet. I'm using this stamp set next for this month. And in it, I used this stamp, which is actually make some grass. And so I needed some grass for our little cow. And so there is a little stamp that can make grass, but I decided to use this. Wonder if the cow head can be used with a wobble. Oh, Linda, guess what we're doing today? I am using a wobble on my cow head. Great minds think alike. We are going to be wobbling it. Oh gosh, Julie and Linda both had the same idea. Yes, it can be used as a wobble, and that is exactly what we're doing today. So funny. All right. So what we have, you stole my thunder. All right, we are using the deckled circles for this. There are so many of these. How many does it say we have? 14 of them. And the ones that we're going to use for the base of the card, and then for the piece that goes over it, we are going to use the second largest one and then the third largest one. So this is going to be our base, and then this is going to be the layer. Now they did white and they embossed it. We're going to use pecan pie for our base, and I have to get to my banners here. So this measures 5.5 by 5.5, and when you cut that at 5.5 by 5.5, this just fits on there. So this is the best size to cut it so that you're not wasting any paper. Good morning, Barbara. All right, and then we're going to use some DSP instead. And this is cut at 5.25 by 5.25, and that fits on there as well. Now, if you don't want to use this much DSP, what you could do is you could cut this at 2.75 by 5.25. I think I kept mine at 6 because this is actually going to be for my envelope. So you could take one piece, you could make your envelope and make that. You could set this on your die like this, and you could cut just half of it and then set it up, and you could just cut it straight and this line it up and just not have this part on the back. So if you don't want to wrap it around and put this on the back, then you could save by making 2.75 inches by 5.25, or you could keep it at 6 so that you could use the other half for your envelope. Okay, so that is how we make the base, and I have those cut for us already. So I have those two pieces cut. Doesn't that look cool on top of each other? I saw somebody make another card with these cows, and they use that, and I'm like, ooh, I like those two colors together. So I stole that from her, and I don't remember who it was. So I'm sorry about that. I can't give credit to the person that I saw it from. It was just I was going through Pinterest and found it. Then for this layer right here, we're going to need, from the center, we're going to count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 is going to be the inside, and 7 is going to be the outside. Okay, and for mine, I did more pecan pie, and I did basic white. All right, so those are going to be, so it's 6 and 7 if you have the deckled circles. Now, if you have a different set of circle dies, whoops, I should tell you that this was the DSP. Oh my goodness. This one I didn't get to. 3.5 by 3.5 is what you would need for the pecan pie to cut that circle. And 3 by 3 is what you would need of the basic white. See, I need an assistant to do this. Oh, Debbie, you're watching from Florida. I am jealous. Okay. And then we need some scraps of basic white. We also need a basic white that measures 2.75 by 5.5. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to take the third from the largest, and just like I showed you with the DSP, how you can cut that, I went ahead and I cut that with the white, and that's going to be for this inside layer. And we are going to have to trim that a little bit, but I'd rather have it too big and trim it than not have it big enough. So that's why I cut it at 2 3/4. All right. And I'm speaking from experience. I was getting frustrated, and I'm like, if I just cut this a little bit bigger and trim it, it'll be fine. All right. And then I've got some scraps of white as well. All righty. Let's see here. Put those deckled rectangles away. With this white, that's going to be the center. I'll set this off to the side. I can put some of this stuff off to the side as well, because we've got that all cut. I wanted to add just a little bit of background color to this. I got to get back to my comments because there've been a lot of them coming in. Oh, thanks, Mary. Oh, you're doing some Valentine's, Lori, with the cow. You know what, you could very easily take basically what I'm doing here, just add a couple of hearts, make this some Valentine's paper, some red and some pink and white, and you could easily make this a Valentine. I actually thought about that for a while, and then I don't know why I went back to this idea, because I did actually have some red out and was thinking of doing it for Valentine's. This is Pool Party ink, and this is one of our blending brushes. And I do want to tell you that this glass mat that I have underneath here, which is the reason I have the paper over the top is because my lights, and I could put vellum over the top of it, but then the vellum's in the way too. So I just decided to put this white over the top. This you can get if you sign up to be join my team. For $99, you get $125 worth of product, and you get this free. If a glass mat doesn't interest you, you could also get an extra $30. I had Michelle Jones join my team this week, so I welcome her. She was up nice and early on Thursday to make sure she got what she wanted from her starter pack, and so she's going to enjoy a discount on all of her products going forward. All right, so this is Pool Party. And I'm just going to, when I use my blend, I'm just lightly putting some of this on here to have a sky for my cow, where he's going to be in his pastures. All right, it's just very, very faint. You could probably hardly even see that on the camera, but here you can see it probably a little bit better than you see it on the camera. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing near the bottom with lemon lime twist. And I'm going to take out, you could do granny apple green would work. I just grabbed lemon lime twist. I actually had it out for another card that I had worked on. And so notice how I do rub off. And the reason I was bringing up my glass mat, you can actually do this right on the glass mat. Okay, you don't have to have a piece of paper. You don't have to use paper. You can do it right on the mat. And when you do it on the mat, it comes with this nice little cloth that you can just wipe that up and go on with the rest of your project. So it's kind of nice, instead of having all this ink that you might, run other inks into. We're going to be doing a lot of blending today. All right. Then we are going to, on here, I get some of these blends out of here. I'm going to put a greeting on here, and I'm going to put it up way at the top, and it's going to say, "Holy cow." This is going to be actually a thank you note. All right, so "Holy cow" is going to go right up there. We're going to trim that before we do any stamping on it, so I probably should have done that first. But let's take our scrap paper and get our blends out of here. And let's stamp the body of our cow. I'm doing this in Memento ink. And we're going to do the head of our cow. I do like how I don't need a mat or anything underneath this. This is a nice hard surface. And we need And I think I have some smaller scraps here. We're going to do 2 of the milk cans. Okay, I'm going to set those aside. I'm going to close this up for a second because I should have done this first so that I had this the right size. We are going to attach our designer paper. Now, again, if you chose not to do the full sheet of the designer paper, then you would just go ahead, and I didn't score this at all. So I kind of feel my paper. I go like this and I go like that. One of the ways, this way right here, it feels more natural to fold it. So that's the way that I'm going to fold it. And I'm just going to line up the edges. So those are lined up. I'm going to take a bone folder, and from where they're lined up, I'm just going to press my bone folder out, and it will make that crease. Okay, to get the right size for this, I'm just going to, I wanted there to be just a little bit of an edge like that. This is going to go on the inside. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to take a pencil. It looks like, let me just see if I just didn't do this straight. I want to make sure that I have this right. That looks kind of like a piece of watermelon. Oh, Debbie, you have to leave today? Oh, that's always a bummer, right? When you have to leave. Okay, so that's where I need to cut it. And it's not very straight. I don't know if I didn't put my die in straight when I did it. I was doing it last night. But what I want to do is I want to set this along the top. And it is because my die wasn't in straight, because when I set it up against the top and I line this up, it goes right on that line. Whoops, I don't want my scoring blade. I want my cutting blade. And I'm going to cut that so that that can go on the inside of my card. Yeah, hard shell tacos. Exactly, Julie. It does kind of look like that. So if you did not want to do this, the entire sheet, this is the exact same way you would cut that. You would go ahead and you would line it up, draw a line on the back, use your trimmer to cut that off, and then you wouldn't have the designer paper on the back. All right. I'm going to hold off on putting that together. We're going to stamp this since I have all my stamps out right now. I am going to take some of the, well, I'm going to put my greeting in first because I need to work my flowers around my greeting. Let me take this banner off. Sorry about that. Hide. There we go. See, I need an assistant. All right. This says, the little things you do make such a big difference. So I thought that the two greetings kind of went together. Holy cow. The little things you do make such a big, and then big is really big, difference. Cute. All right. I just want to make sure that that is, let me go like this. I'm just going to flip it over. I didn't really have that straight when I put my, there we go. Like that better. And then there were these fun flowers, and we're just going to put some of them along the side here. And we'll color those in as well. All right. The flowers are just kind of floating there. So I'm going to take that little piece of grass, that stamp that has the grass, and I'm just going to stamp a little bit of that on the bottom there, just so they're not floating in the air. All right. I think I have all the stamping done. We're going to do some coloring. I'm going to bring in my blends. Let's start with our cow. And our cow, I'm using our dark black. Dark basic black. And I'm going to color in those spots. Now here too, if you were doing a Valentine, you could make this a little bit more whimsical, and you could, if you wanted to, color in the spots in like a pink or something like that. Or I was thinking when I was doing it, if you did reds and pinks, or you could do grays and pinks, and you could make a gray cow, and you could color in the spots with pink and color in the cow gray and make it a little bit more whimsical. All right, and I'm going to color in this top part here. See, I have lots of ideas in the morning. It's just when I'm doing it at night that I can't figure out what I'm doing. All right, here is this is a light petal pink, and we are going to color in this with that light petal pink. I'm going to put a little bit in his ears as well. And that's it for our cow. I have some gray granite, and I'm going to do my milk cans in gray granite. I'm going to go ahead and follow where the artist had some lines and dots and things like that with my dark. I'm also going to do my handles, and I actually did the top, and I did this line with the dark. And then the rest of it, I'm going to blend in with the lighter gray granite. Being raised in a family that had a cheese factory, I remember milk cans and stuff like that, when my favorite thing to do was to go on the milk truck with my grandpa when he would pick up milk at the farmers. And I remember all the little milk cans and stuff like that that I would see at all of the farms, and that when we went. Okay, I'm also going to add some color to the inside. This is a light lemon lime twist to go with the color that I had on the front. And I'm just going to, I didn't take a whole lot of time to do blending and doing different shades on the leaves, only because it's the inside of the card. And for the most part, people have the outside. And so I'm like, I'm going to just make it a little bit easier on myself and just color those in. I have I think this is a dark Daffodil Delight that I'm going to do each of the petals of these sunflowers. And I'm basically just kind of putting some little dots in there to fill up that space. Okay, and then I'm using a light pumpkin pie. Good morning, Kay. And we're going to go around this circle with that light pumpkin pie. Kind of almost looks like a coral, but it is pumpkin pie. It's just light. And then the center I'm going to do with the light pecan pie. Okay, so that is going to be the inside of our card when they open it up. Isn't that cute? Just adds a little bit of something to the inside. All right, I'm going to go ahead. When I did mine, I attached this first before I folded it. So we're going to see if this works to attach it after. I'm sure it will. If it doesn't, I'll show you what it looked like when I attached it first and then folded it. But I think this should work fine. I am making sure that I have enough glue so that it doesn't buckle when I go to fold it. All right, and now I'm going to flip it over. And there was that fold line. Look at that, easy as can be. All right, so there is the base of our rocking card. And we have the inside ready, so I can go ahead and add that already. Okay, now we just have to do this outside part. So we're going to bring in our punch, which I put right here. And I'm going to punch out his head, which someone stole my thunder. We're going to put on a wobble. I think it's so funny that we all had the same idea. And then I'm going to punch out the body of the cow. All right. And if you wanted to, you could line your stamps up so you could punch those out as one. I just didn't take the time to do that. I kept my stamps on separate blocks. All right. I should have, I do. It's buried in the bottom here. Some of those little grass things that I said that I cut out from that other bundle. And I am going to just take my blending brush and my lemon lime twist, and I'm just going to add a little bit extra ink to that. And I have to fussy cut. I know some of you don't like to fussy cut. I have to fussy cut out these milk cans because we do not have a die for them. But they actually cut out pretty fast. I don't get too detailed around the top. I leave just a little bit of a white edge around the outside. And these are pretty small, so it doesn't really take you that long. And I thought they just added a little bit to the card, so I wanted to throw something on there. I don't have any other embellishments that I'm going to add. And so I thought the little milk cans popped up along the side of that circle just added a little bit of something. It just needed something when I was finished with it, even though it had all that fun stuff happening. All right, we are going to put our cow here. And again, we're going to put his head on a little wobble there. All right, isn't that going to be cute? And we're going to put the grass over his feet. So I'm going to go ahead and put my cow down with just regular glue. I'm not going to raise that up at all. Okay, and I want to keep him down because his head's going to go here. And I still want to be able to see that holy cow up there. All right, and then the grass. I'm going to hang a little bit off the side, and then I'm just going to trim it. And then we're going to overlap it a little bit with this one. I didn't put these on adhesive sheets on the back of this because I didn't feel like it really needed it. And I'll take that paper snips that I had and just go like that. Like that. You really didn't need the grass. You could use that stamp if you wanted to, but I had just used that die and remembered that it was in there. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to use that for this. Okay, we're going to attach this to, I'm going to get some of these scraps off of here, throw them in my garbage up here. I did get all my swaps done, and I did get one swap back that I'm going to share with you at the end. The other swaps I should be getting maybe sometime this week, I'm hoping. Okay, and then what we need to do is we need to bring our envelope in. We have to make sure that when this is in our envelope, that I put this down low enough so that it fits in the envelope. if I put it up like this, I'm not going to be able to get it in the envelope. So I have to make sure I pull my envelope out. You could also pull out your graph paper and just make sure that it's at least at 4 1/4. It doesn't go any higher than that. So I could put it in the corner here and just make sure that I stay underneath that 4 1/4. All right. So that's what I did when I did mine. I wanted to use dimensional. So I'm going to flip this over and I need to grab, I think I'm out of big dimensionals. Oh no, I'm not. I have a sheet over at my other workstation. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put these on the bottom. And then so that I know where to put them on the higher part, I always put it on here so that I don't put them up too high and then you can see it through the back. Okay, so again, I'm going to line this up, make sure that I'm in the envelope, and then I can press that down. Okay, so our card is starting to come together. We've got our little rocking card with our little greeting on the inside. We need to add our head and we need to add our milk cans. So our milk cans are just going to go right over here on some little dimensionals. And so I'm going to just put one down in the corner here. I'm going to put a little bit of glue up there. So there is one. Whoa, I have a dimensional stuck to my fingernail. And there's our second one. Let that dry a little bit. All right, and now our wobbles. I get my wobbles, for those of you who haven't watched me before. I get my wobbles on Amazon. I believe that you could get them at a craft store, maybe even like Walmart. They're just called Action Wobbles. Mine are called Mini Action Springs, and they're peel and stick. They come with a lot of them in there. This one says it came with 48. I just have them in this really big bag, and I put them up in my closet, and I know where they are, or cupboard, so I know where they are when I need them. And it is a really tight fit. So what I decided to do was you just peel off the edging here. And I'm just going to go ahead, make sure I'm in the camera here, put one end of the wobble on that side. And then I have to peel off the other side. Could you see this I could see this as a Valentine. I maybe should have made it as a Valentine since we're done with Christmas now and thinking Valentine's Day. And then I'm going to just set where his head would be. And there he wobbles. Okay, isn't that fun? All right, so there is our finished card. It's a rocking card. Has a greeting on the inside. It's a cute little thank you, but you could easily make this into a Valentine. I know somebody said that they were thinking of doing Valentine. Oh, Betty, you would roll right along with your dad too. I remember a lot of things about my time when I would ride the milk truck with my grandpa. He always had juicy fruit gum in the glove compartment of his milk truck. And if we were good, we would get our juicy fruit gum from him. And then when he had to get back to the cheese factory to unload the truck, I was just like, I don't know, maybe in first or second grade. He would have me go into the store, and he would have the manager of the store, the ladies in the store, find something for me to do. So sometimes I would help bake cheese curds. Sometimes I would help bake string cheese. Sometimes I stamped. Um, Back then we didn't have scales that printed what kind of cheese it was. So we had like little rubber stamps with all the names, and we would have to put it on a little sticker. So they would sit me down at a table and say, you need to stamp all of these. And then sometimes I would have to write the price up in the corner of them. And so we weighed everything to make sure it was an exact pound, because we didn't have scales like they have now where it, you know, if it's over or under a pound, it figures out what the price is. So it was, yeah, that was a long time ago, but great memories, awesome memories. All right, so there is our first card, a fun fold rocking card with our little cutest cow using a little wobbler for his head. So that is our card number 1. Hopefully you liked that. I had fun making it. It was a lot of fun last night. All right, let me clean a little bit of stuff up here. Get some of these blends out of here so they're not in my way. And we will look at card number 2. Card number 2, I'm going to keep this here because I'm going to need to do it for some more blending. I'm going to get some of these scraps out of here. All right, card number 2 is going to feature a couple of different things with Stampin' Up. Somebody asked about the Enduring Beauty. This is a stamp with a lot of really cool greetings. It has a die. Oh, look at this. I colored one of these. You're getting a sneak peek. This is a purple with, this is what I was using the lemon lolly for when I was trying this. I started out with purple and green and I changed to a different color. So, but it has a label that fits most of the greetings. It has a couple of extra leaves and buds. And then it has a die that will cut this out. And we'll come back to using that once we color all of our thing in. We are also going to be featuring a new embossing folder. It's called Layered Florals, which is kind of a cool embossing folder that has all these flowers in it. It's one of our 3D embossing folders. And then, well, and with the Enduring Beauty, they do come just like we had the sunflower mask, decorative masks. These come with masks so that you can easily do shading on your images. So we're going to be using these today as well. And then we're going to, somebody had asked me if I would show how to use, and I have a lot of stuff in here, how to use this Thoughtful Moments, which is a hybrid set. So it has this, oops, and I have something in there. It has this embossing folder with all of these words, and then it has dies to cut them out, and it has these little images. Whoops, that's kind of some of them that I've cut. It has all these little images that you can use. I haven't used those yet. And so we're going to use that on this card so you can see that. We also have a new brayer, and somebody said, I don't know how to use a brayer. I don't know what a brayer is. What would you use it for? And so we're going to be actually using that today in a way with this bundle here. So we got a lot of different products that I'm going to be able to share with you with this product. So our card, let's see, I got to get back to my banners here so you can get the measurements. Here we go. So our card base is going to be Lost Lagoon. And this measures 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. So it's just going to be a regular card. It's not going to be a fun fold or anything like that. Then I have 2 petal pink layers that measure 3 3/4 by 5. So we've got petal pink along with Lost Lagoon. I loved how that looked together. And then I cut just 1/8 of an inch smaller. So I have 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. And one of those layers I ran through that embossing folder. Isn't that cool? Love it. Now you could use, you could do some sponging over this and add some color. You could use your brayer to your embossing folder and add color that way. And that's what we're going to do with that brayer in that hybrid set. So I'll show you how to do that later. And then I have a couple of the leaves that I cut out in the Lost Lagoon, and I did put adhesive sheets on the back of them so that we can easily tuck them in somewhere and add them. And I have a piece of typing paper because I'm going to stamp that image on the outside of my envelope. And if I color it in with blends, it's likely to bleed through. All right. I also have, I'm going to stamp my image on something a little bit bigger, 4x5 1/4. And I'm going to show you how you could use these notches to help you if you have a hard time lining things up. So that's why I did that. All right. And then when we get to the greeting, if you wanted to cut out all of the greetings, you would do a 6x6, or you can just hover over the greeting that you want, because that is one die and one embossing folder. And so it does cut everything out. So if you wanted to cut ahead so you have a whole bunch of greetings done, and that you can change the greetings out, you could do that. Or you can just take a really small piece and just do the greeting that you want. All right, let's go ahead and start. I'm going to hide this and go back to my comments. Thank you for sharing, Linda. All right. Yeah, the detail in that die is unbelievable. Okay, if you wanted to use these little notch marks in here, what I did to use those, because I'm like, I need to show them something, because I didn't have a very hard time lining up the masks where they're supposed to be. But I know that as I was watching some videos, some demonstrators said that they were really struggling with that. And I'm like, okay, so what can I do? How could I use this? And so I'm going to go ahead. I made this a little bit bigger so that this is just some Post-it tape. I just get this from Amazon. It's 3M. It's just some removable tape, kind of like a Post-it note. You could also just put a Post-it note down there if you wanted to. I use this a lot for my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Right. I decided that instead of stamping that really big image with black, that this was a little bit of a softer card. Hi, Sandy. It's okay that you're late. You can always go back and watch what we did before if you want. I decided I was going to use basic gray rather than using black. I felt like it was just a little bit softer. And I'll show you that purple one again if you want. On that one, I used black. And on this one, I'm using gray. All right. And I'm going to, this one flower, if I'm using my masks the correct way, and I'm actually going to, oh, shoot. Let's flip that over. We'll put the tape on after, because that's what I did do, is I put the tape on after. I'm going to make sure this is inked up good again since I dropped it. Just go like that. Okay. It's gray, but it does kind of look like black, right? Because it's a darker gray, but it isn't as dark as the black. I can tell you that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. Now we're going to go ahead and tape this down. And I want to make sure that my tape isn't on any of my leaves so that they all get colored. And same thing up here. So see how you can reuse this and it pulls off and it doesn't leave any marks or anything like that. That's what I like about it. Okay, so these masks, there are 5 of them. I'm not going to use number 5 because as light as this is, I didn't really want a darker color in the center at all. You could if you wanted to. Maybe we will this time and I'll just do a little bit darker pink there. You're going to start with number 1. And I wrote the 1 on there because it's kind of just raised up here and it's kind of hard to see. So that's why I did that. So you want to line this up, and I lined this one up with that first. And then you just want to make sure that you have only lines that you see. And when you have that, you press it down. Now, I have sprayed the backs of mine with this pixie spray, which you can get at any craft store. It just makes it a little tacky so it stays in place. You could also, if you didn't want to go and invest in something like that, you could also just, again, tape these edges down. This little notch that's right here, if you go ahead and you put your pencil in there like that, each of the other masks, if you put your mask in there, it's going to line up exactly where you need it to line up. So if you have a hard time seeing, oh gosh, I don't know where that's supposed to line up, you can go ahead and use that little notch as a way to help you. We're using Petal Pink ink. And the first layer that I'm doing to color it in is going to be a little bit lighter. And then I'm only using 2 colors. Now you could use 4 colors, you could use 3 colors. Some people did like Petal Pink and then they came back with maybe like a Flirty Flamingo to do the highlights. I just decided to do my highlights a little bit darker when I come in with that one, rather than doing them lighter. Okay, so I have all of this colored in. I can lift it. Look at that. Isn't that cool? All right, and now I'm going to take mask number 2. And again, I'm going to go ahead and put that V where it is, and then just kind of move this around. All right, that's looking good. Again, I sprayed some pixie spray in the bottom of this. And I'm using Lost Lagoon, which looks like a blue, but it's kind of a bluish green. It's kind of a soft green. It's a green that has some blue hues to it. Now, you can use this die. You don't have to get the decorative masks. You could definitely use this die or this stamp, and you could use your blends to color it in. And I think it would be just as beautiful. I just wanted to show you how this works. If you saw it in the catalog and you were like, I don't understand how that works, sometimes to see it in action. Okay, so there is our leaves. Now I'm going to come in with number 3. Now I kept my stamp pads open so that I could do this. This is the one that's a little bit harder to line up. So again, I'm up in the corner. I just want to make sure that when I put it on, there isn't any white showing. I'm really going over stuff that's already been colored. And I'm just adding the highlights. Okay, so again, I'm going to press that down. Again, I'm using Petal Pink, but I'm going darker on this. So I'm pressing a little bit harder on it. I'm using a little bit more ink. Okay, I wiped off a lot of ink the last time. This one, I just kind of tap it so it isn't real dark, or isn't real, one spot isn't really dark. Okay, so there are the highlights. You can see those highlights in there. And we're going to do the same thing with number 4. Now, this is your lining up the leaves. For this one, if you line up, see these little stems in here? All of those you have little holes for all of the stems. So that was how I found lining this one up worked, making sure all my stems were in there. But I also have my little V there that is matching up as well. Okay, and this too, I'm going to just go a little bit darker. And that gives me highlights where they need to be. Now, this 5th one, when I did one, I did this in black and I really did not like it. But as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, I wonder if we just did it in the pink again and we just did a darker pink. Let's go ahead and line that up. I don't know how that's going to look because I think it's supposed to be a darker color, kind of like your black centers, but I think that looks okay. All right, so there is our image. It looks like it's professionally colored on there, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, if somebody thought that I colored this, they would be like, oh my gosh, she's such a great colorer. But all I did was use those masks, and all the shading is where it's supposed to be and everything's where it's supposed to be. And it was like, oh my gosh, I love this. Now, I didn't do this ahead of time and cut it out ahead of time because I wanted to be able to tape it down and do all of that. So I do have to bring my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine in here. I'm going to bring it in here twice. For the first time, we're going to cut this out. So I'm going to go ahead and set that down on there. And we're going to open up and get our die out. The 3 flowers on the top is the easiest one to line up. And you just want to set it so it's right at where the black line is. Again, I can use some of that tape. I've got some up there that's sticky yet. And I'll run that through my machine, and just like that, I'm going to have a beautiful image for the front of my card. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, when I started playing with this, I'm like, I love this. I just think it's so pretty, and it's really easy to do. And if you're making a couple of cards, you could be coloring them all at once, which reminds me, I should have been doing my inside, and I should have been doing my envelope when I was doing it, but we'll come back and we'll do those at the end. Then you can kind of see it all again. So there's our image that we're going to be putting on the front of our card. Now, it does have some really, really nice images. I think I had 2 people said that they needed sympathy cards. So I really loved this holding you close in my heart. But I wanted to use a sympathy on the outside, and I wanted that to be on the inside of my card. And so what I decided to do was to use this other hybrid. This one wasn't a hybrid. This one's a hybrid. There is a with sympathy right in there. So there's hello, thank you, oh, happy day, thinking of you, love you, you make me happy, celebrate, just because, get well. And there's this with sympathy. So I wanted to show you, so I did cut out. If you just go ahead and put the paper in and cut them out, this is what they look like. So the with sympathy is right here. Okay, so I kind of have to bring it close for you to see that it says with sympathy. So what we want to do is we want to use our brayer to add some ink to the top of this embossing folder. So I'm just going to add it to the top, and then I'm going to run it through, and it's going to make that with sympathy stand out a little bit more. It's going to add a little bit of ink around the edges of the letters so that you can see it just a little bit clearer. Okay, so I'm going to use Lost Lagoon paper, and I'm going to cut out all of the things so that I have them. So if I do another card, I don't have to ink up my brayer again, and I don't have to do that. So this brayer is different than any of the brayers that we've had in the past. It has these 2 little things that are actually supposed to be little feet, so you can set it on your workspace, and the brayer is not touching that, so it's not adding ink somewhere where you don't want it. You also, when you go to ink it up, you're going to want to flip those up because you don't want to scratch your, possibly scratch your ink pad by running those across that. So I'm going to use the Lost Lagoon on Lost Lagoon. You could also, you know what, let's try on this one. I have a Lost Lagoon one, I think, done. Maybe I don't. Let's try. We could always do it over. Let's try something a little bit darker. Let's try that basic gray. So when you ink up your brayer, a lot of times people will go do, 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 and they're running it back and forth. You're not adding ink to your entire brayer. You're just adding it to the same location over and over again. So you have to roll it over and pick it up, and then roll it over and pick it up. You're going to keep rolling it. My stamp pad wants to move. You're going to roll it and pick it up after you roll it so that you get good coverage on your brayer all around. I don't know what this is going to look like. I haven't done it this way, but we'll try it. All right. Then you're going to open this up, and the side that has the Stampin' Up! Logo on it is the one that you want to ink. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink this. And add enough ink. Now I think I need a little bit more. So I'm going to ink it up the same way and add more ink. For sure want to get that with Sympathy Good because that's the one I'm going to be using. Okay, so you could just put like a little piece of paper in there and just ink that part up if you wanted to. You don't have to do all of it. Okay, so we've got that done. I'm going to close this up, put it on my little stand with the feet. And we're going to take our die and we're going to set our die right inside of there. It kind of just snaps right in place. Then I'm going to put my paper in and I'm going to close it. And this time, let me get this brayer out of here. This time when I run it through, I need my plate, my regular plate. I don't need the additional little plate. And I need my gray, it's right here, specialty plate. Now with our embossing folders, you always want to put the folded edge in through first. It saves your embossing folders from getting ruined. We'll see what that gray looks like on there. I can show you what it looks like with Lost Lagoon because that's what I did last night. Ooh, I kind of like that. See how the words just pop out? You can see the words just a little bit better than you could when I didn't have any ink on it. Now, some of you have probably used this method before, but what you did was you just took your ink pad and you patted your ink pad down on here. You can still do that. You don't need a brayer. What the brayer does is it adds the ink more evenly. Because if I were to take my ink pad, and well, here's my basic gray one. If I were to take my ink pad and go like this, it's going to leave little marks. Like it's going to be here, and then I got to make sure that I overlap that because it doesn't fill the whole thing. With the brayer, I can more evenly distribute all of that ink. All right, where's my With Sympathy? Here it is. Now, what I did was inside of this dies, I have some of these already cut. So this is Highland Heather with Gorgeous Grape. This is the Lost Lagoon with Lost Lagoon. I can take one of these out so you can see. So this is the Just Because with the Lost Lagoon. This is with the gray. Doesn't look a lot different. All right, so my With Sympathy is here. That's the one I need. I'm going to put the rest of these in here so that when I'm doing a card and I'm like, oh, I want to have that Oh Happy Day, and it works in, I've got all of these cut and they're right where I need them because I'm putting them right with the rest of my stuff. I'll put that all away later. Okay, so now we know how the brayer works. The other thing that you can do with the brayer, and I thought I brought a piece of it out here to show you. But now I did this in gray and I don't want to go clean it. But all you have to do to clean it is run it underneath your sink. But we have some of our specialty paper that has like the gold embossed in it. you can run the brayer over that and change the background color, and then the gold will pop through. Let's see if let me just grab a piece real quick. Gray isn't what you'd want to put on it, but I can show you what I mean. So like this paper. Okay, this paper has gold embossing. So if I were to add color to this, that gold would still show through. So if I wanted to make the background pink instead of white, I could take my brayer and go over it. I could also use a blending brush, okay? But it's just kind of a quicker way to evenly spread that ink on there. Okay, let's go ahead. Oh my goodness, where did I put my floral image now in all of that mess? It's here somewhere. It has to be. I have such a little space here. It's got to be around somewhere. I'll find it. I honestly do not see it right now, but we'll be okay. It's got to be here, right? And did anyone see where I put it? I have, this is my paper for the envelope. Here is the envelope. Here's the finished card. Oh, goodness gracious. I do not see it here at all. I'm not going to stamp that image over again. It's got to be here. I wonder if it's over by my... Okay, I'm going to put the rest of the card together. And we will figure it out. Okay, this is going to go on top of that petal pink, and our image is going to go on here. Like I said, I had a lot of things. Oh, Sandy, I'm glad that you appreciated me sharing it. There were a lot of people that asked about it. And sometimes when you see something in the catalog, you don't want to order it if you don't know how to use it. So sometimes just to have a quick little demonstration to show you how you can use a tool, or, you know, what is this? I see this hybrid bundle. And what does it do and how do I use it? I'm just not sure on how to do anything. And so it's helpful to have somebody show you how to do that. All right, I'm really not seeing my image, which is kind of scaring me a little bit. All right, let's go ahead, because it was pretty. I gotta find it. I don't know where it is. All right, we're gonna wrap a little bit. It comes in a combo pack with some lemon lime twist thin ribbon, and then this is petal pink, and I'm just going to take and cut a little bit of this off, and I just want to make sure I have enough room for my with sympathy down here, and I do. Okay, and I'm just going to wrap this around. My tape is kind of hidden over here by a light, so my desk isn't the best space for me to be doing something like this because it's not the biggest area in the world. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right, so that's going to be going around there. We're going to take some of our mini dimensionals, and I need a scissors to cut these. And pop some of those on the back. And that's just going to go down in the corner. The floral image is really going to be our centerpiece for this card. So that's going to go there. If we can find our floral image to be the centerpiece of our card. Here it is. I found it. For any of you that watch Susan Campfield, she always says she loses everything. And she always has, when she finds something, she's like, take a drink, I found it. I kind of felt like that right there when I said found it. Let's go ahead and put this, actually, let's run some Wink of Stella over this, which I know you're probably not going to see on the camera, but in person, it's absolutely beautiful. And I'm just doing it over the actual flowers, not over the leaves. So I'm just adding a little bit of glimmer. And I'll hold this up here, but I doubt that you're going to be able to see that glimmer that's on there, that sparkle. Oh, maybe a little bit. You can kind of see it a little bit, but it does sparkle. And we're just going to raise that up on some dimensionals on the top part of our card. And I've got some bigger dimensionals for this one. And I do like to make sure that I have even some dimensionals in the center. I think I mentioned it once before, like when these go through the machines at the post office, it's just a little bit easier on the card if there's like an even amount of height to them rather than having everything out here, then this kind of sags in the middle. All right, I'm going to pull off the backing. I think I am. There we go. And we're just going to pop some leaves in here. And I've got one in here that will pop in. You could do more of these if you wanted to. I thought that because the sympathy was down there, I wanted to kind of keep that by itself. So just pop a couple of those in. I'm going to take our ribbon. That was way more than I needed. I'm just going to tie a knot here. I'm not going to tie a bow. Bow was too big. I tried. I started with a bow. Okay. And now we're going to add this to the front of our card. And I actually use dimensionals for that as well. If you wanted to just add liquid glue, you could just add liquid glue. Thanks, Kay. Thanks, Linda. Oh, thank you, Carol. Oh my gosh, I haven't been watching the comments because I've been sweating trying to find my floral image that I worked so hard on and then couldn't find. So I'm going to go ahead and take these off. And add that to the front of our card. And then in that set we used, I put a couple of these on the bottom of the, look what I did. I organized all of my gems on New Year's Day, and they all have the name of them, and they all have a bag to go in. Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm so far ahead of the game right now. I'm just going to put a couple of these around here just to add a little. I'm going to put a small one right in there. And I think I'll put a small one there. And we'll put a bigger one in that bigger space there. So we just added a little bit of gems on there. We've got our with sympathy. Then for the inside of our card, this won't take me too long because I really don't, I don't stamp the entire image, but we're going to go ahead and take this image in our basic gray again. And how about if I do the envelope, I'll do off camera so you guys don't have to sit and watch that if you don't want to. I'm just going to do a little bit of it in the corner here. Oh, that's beautiful. And we're going to do the same thing with our mats. So I'm going to start with number 1, but I only have a little bit here. So it's not going to take me too long to press it down. Whoa. Trying to fly here. Slow down, Sarah. Okay, so we'll do our lighter one. We'll take number 2. Actually, let's just do number 3. We'll just do number 3. I don't know why they put them in that order. I don't know if because 1 and 2 you would do for sure, and then 3 and 4 would be more optional. I have no idea, but I don't see why you couldn't do them out of order. Okay, and then I've got my 2. And then my 4. Okay, so I've got my flower on the inside, and then I wanted to use that beautiful greeting where it says that holding you close in my heart. And we will put that on a little bit of petal pink. Get some of this out of here so I don't end up having, whoa, I got my gray open here. Don't want to put anything in there after I have it all done. Just wanted to bring the petal pink in a little bit to the inside of the card. So I added that other little layer. And you could have made this a little bit bigger if you wanted to, but you don't really need that much space on the inside. So I just kept it the same size as the outside. So there is our card. And like I said, I will take the envelope off of camera. Whoops. I did put this in here to see. I was going to have you vote. I forgot. This was the With Sympathy in pink, but I think I like it with the Lost Lagoon. I think it stands out a little bit more. I did do that last night, and I did put petal pink over it just to see if I liked that. And I was going to have you vote, but oh my goodness, we're almost at 10 o'clock. So thank you for sticking with me, for those of you that have been here the whole time. So there is our sympathy card using the Enduring Beauty, also using the, what is it, moments, something moments, thoughtful moments. Is that what it's called? Thoughtful moments. And using our brayer, also using that fun embossing folder. And then we have we've got our beautiful card, and we have our fun, cute card with our little wobble cow that's on a rocking card. So even when you wobble him, he starts to rock too. So, all right. So that is what I have for you today, using some of the new product. My host code right now, I should pop that up here for you so that you can see what that is. Now, if your order is under $150, if you use this host code, that's how I help to pay for all of the prizes that I give away. If your order is over $150, then don't use the host code, because then you will get those benefits yourself, and I want you to be able to take advantage of those. So up in the upper right-hand corner, when you're on my page for placing orders, or if you're on the Stampin' Up! Page, you just enter this host code, and it will automatically apply it to that. So, all right, let's see. I got to go like that, go like this, and go like that. Now I'm back to you. All right, that is what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed that. It was really fun making them. Next week, I have a card buffet, so I will not be live at 8:30. It will likely be closer to 12:30 or 1 o'clock. I will leave a note on my Facebook page, and also you'll be able to see, if you go to my YouTube channel and you go to my lives, you'll be able to see any upcoming events too. So you don't have to go right from from Facebook. You can go into YouTube and find me there as well. So, oh, thanks, Lori. Yeah, I don't know what doing a thumbs up does, but I think it spreads my videos to more people. So if you would like to if you liked what you saw and you give me a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it a lot. So thank you guys so much for joining me. And I will, if you have any special requests, I know that there was one request for something I didn't have, the telephone. I don't have that telephone stamp set. So, and then there was one for the stippled roses, I think. And I just ordered that stamp set. So it should be coming sometime next week. So if I get it in time, I will do something with that as well. So thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope that I've inspired you to do something creative today. I know I have to finish making a couple of cards for my card buffet because I chose to go to bed the other night instead of staying up and finishing that. I have to get that off in the mail. And I said I was going to take my tree down last week, but I love it too much. And well, today's Three Kings Day, so I probably should take it down sometime this weekend. That might be happening during the Packer game on Sunday, because then I don't have to focus just on the Packers in case they're doing bad. So anyhow, you guys have a great weekend. I will see you again next week. Thanks again for your support of my business, and try to find some way to be crafty this weekend. Bye-bye.